Hi everyone. As many of you know, my name is Lilith Sinclair. I'm an Afro-Indigenous, non-binary local organizer here in Portland, organizing for the abolition of not just the militarized police state, but also the United States as we know it. I want to make sure that while we are standing here on stolen land, we make sure to do a land acknowledgement. So, I'm here today to remind the people on this land who the original keepers of the land were and still are. What is now Portland, Oregon, has a rich history since time immemorial. Many tribes lived here, including the Multnomah, Clackamas, Chinook, Tualatin, Kalapuya, and Malala. Also, please remember to include the Willamette Tumwater and the Watlala for people who historically lived here. Also, the Tualatin Kalapuya are one people, a band of the Kalapuya people who lived in the Portland area. Many more tribes traded here, including the Wasco, Warm Springs, Yakima Siletz. This area was a trading spot. Tribes from all along the Columbia River, all the way from the start of the river in Canada to the mouth of the river along the Pacific Ocean and along all the Columbia River tributaries and up the coast, would come here and trade cloth, beads, coins, shells, medicine, food, music, dance, and language. Families and tribes would join together in a marriage, would sit and share meals together, tell stories, and pray together. This has been going on since before anyone can remember. When the colonizers who created the state of Oregon and the city of Portland and surrounding cities came, they saw us not as people, but as wild animals. They enacted a genocide against the people here, killing us using physical weapons such as guns or fists, mental weapons such as boarding schools and Christianity, and biological weapons such as smallpox and other diseases. The goal was to eradicate us as we were on the land and the colonizers wanted the land for themselves. They have continued to do things like kidnapping children and not allowing people to practice their culture without severe punishments, including death, making our religions and customs illegal, providing us with false health care, forcing us onto reservations with poor access to our ancestral food, or any food at all for that matter, and killing so many of us that often what is left is a mere memory. These are facts that we as Indigenous people have to live with every minute of every day of our entire lives. I'm here today not just to honor our ancestors and those who have been lost, but to remind all people, and especially white people, of the violent history of the land you are on. You are here today standing on the dead backs of men, women, children, two-spirit, and non-binary people. There is Indigenous blood oozing out of every step you take, bloodshed not by us, but by racist colonizers who viewed us as game to hunt. I am also here to tell you that this is history, but this is also our lives right now. Indigenous women have a 1 in 3 chance of being raped in our lifetime. Indigenous American men have the highest suicide rates in the country. This genocide is not over. If you do not see what is happening, it is because you choose not to. My existence standing before you today, and the existence of every Indigenous, Black, and brown person standing before you today, is resistance. This country's entire existence is built upon killing me, killing us. It is not just Indigenous Americans that have had to deal with this for the past 500 plus years. The United States has made it very clear that their intention is to do the same to Black people in the Americas as well. Our culture has already been genocided, but they seek to kill us all too. You are walking today also on the backs of dead Black women, children, men, two-spirit, and non-binary people. We, as Black and Indigenous people, have been fighting for our lives and safety for 500 plus years. This event today is a show of Indigenous support and Black support coming together for the Black Lives Matter community, uplifting Afro-Indigenous people and standing in solidarity with Black people across the continent. Black liberation and Indigenous solidarity are intrinsically linked. There is no Black liberation without Indigenous sovereignty. There is no Indigenous sovereignty without Black liberation. I'm now speaking to all the Black, brown, and Indigenous people who hear me, see me, or read my words. I want to acknowledge that this land acknowledgement was actually written by a local Indigenous person who passed me this land acknowledgement because their words are so strong. I want to make sure they are consistently elevated. But they and I am telling you that we will fight for your life with my life. I will fight for you and us until we don't have to, or until our very last breath. We will give you everything that we are able to. We will listen to your words and uplift and respect your space, because a life where people aren't free isn't worth living. I should know, sincerely, a merciless Indian savage. I would like to add, in closing to this land acknowledgement, that land acknowledgements are not enough. Instead, I want you to be reaching out to the Indigenous community the same way that you are starting to throw funds, finally, to the Black community. I want you to be investing in Indigenous populations. I want you to be reaching out to these people and asking what support they need that you can provide or that you can find and provide for them. When we say solidarity, when we say land acknowledgement, when we say an abolitionist movement, we mean that we all need to work together to not only acknowledge, but to honor the land that we live on. We protect us, and we protect us means we protect the planet too. Thank you.